just created a column called species that combined information from these two columns. What species did you observe? And what species do you think you observed? Or did you expect to observe? So let's clean this up, because what happens is students will put this in and they'll spell birds with a capital B or birds with a small b, or they'll whatever they'll do. So we can clean that up. And the way to do that, the first thing to do is just to sort based on this new thing that we call species. There, it'll do it alphabetically. And here we can see little b bird, big B bird, big B birds, little b birds, a lot of stuff. So this is what we want to call it. I'm going to call it birds. So I'm just going to do copy and paste. Everything's going to be birds. Now, one thing you can just do is just drag this down. So every cell that's birds is identical. And so if you've got, again, the number of cells we have, it's not that many. So we can do, we can just drag and click and drag that corner. Here we've got California ground squirrel, CA ground squirrel, California ground squirrel with the species name, whatever it is. So just to maybe clean this up for analysis purposes, I'm just going to take out the scientific name. All right. And now I'm just going to take that. I'm going to copy. So Control C, Control V to paste it. And now everything is going to basically, I'm going to just take that corner, and everything that's a California ground squirrel, I'm going to drag down, and we're going to call it California ground squirrel. I can do the same again with all of these. I'm just going to take out, again, this is a personal preference, just to make things cleaner. I'm going to do that with Eastern chipmunk. Now, I know that the gray squirrel is listed a number of times differently. So we're going to call it the Eastern gray squirrel. So anything that's Carolina, Cirrus carolinensis, we're going to call Eastern gray squirrel. And so now I've got Eastern gray squirrel. I'm going to drag that down. We'll see where it changes a little bit. Just a second here. Okay, fox squirrel is different. Okay, so fox squirrel is Cirrus niger. So we're just going to call that fox squirrel. Your instructor might say, hey man, do not take out that scientific name. I don't care what Yankee says. But anyway, we're just going to do that here. So we got fox squirrel. A lot of fox squirrels. All right, remember I said gray squirrel was listed as gray squirrel and Eastern gray squirrel. So I'm going to change, actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up and grab that Eastern gray squirrel just to make sure it's all the same. So here's an Eastern gray squirrel. I'm going to copy Eastern gray squirrel there. I'm going to come back down here. I'm going to paste it in. So now that's going to be Eastern gray squirrel. So now everything that says gray squirrel Cirrus carolinensis, we're going to drag and drop that. So we combined all the Eastern gray squirrels. The distinction here being, as you'll see in just a bit, there is a Western gray squirrel. So we want to distinguish those two. Mixed small mammals. So we can just do mixed nocturnal small mammal community. That's fine. Or I'm just going to shorten it up. That really doesn't help us too much, but just to give you a sense of making sure everything is the same there. None observed. Oh, okay, here's nuthatches and chickadees. It's going to call that birds. We already have a category called birds. None, I don't know. We'll just, whatever. We'll just, someone put none. We'll just make all that the same. Red squirrels. At this point, you may have already tuned out because you know what the heck I'm trying to do here. And that is totally cool. Life is short. And here we've got red squirrels. just a few rock squirrels. Whoa, white-tailed gray. There's a whole bunch of weird stuff going on here. I don't know what to do about that. Durga. You're just gonna have to figure out what to do about that. Train not discovered. Well, that's gonna be another problem to solve later on, what to do with that. So let's just kind of skip down to train not discovered until we get to the western gray squirrel, which is an actual thing. So let's just get our western gray squirrels sorted. And now we've got one white-tailed prairie dog. There's got to be, well, hell's bells. We're just gonna do it. So anyway, so now we've got a column of species cleaned up and sorted just a little bit.